Good morning, everyone. We are now in the last part of Chapter 2, which is the institutions and globalization. But first, what is institutions? Institutions are basically the rules of the established norms, activities, and regulatory structures that make social life established, stable, and predictable. They function uh, as essential framework guiding the interactions among individuals, groups, and states. Think of them as the operating manuals for society, setting the framework for how we all interact, whether as individuals, companies, or even the entire nations. Things like a school, a legal court, or the United Nations are perfect examples. They are the structured systems that rely on to guide our behavior and keep things running smoothly. Specifically, the legal systems, the educational systems, and the international organizations are exemplified institutions that regulate behavior and ensure order. Now, let's move into the institutions of global governance. Global governance is a system of rules. It refers to the complex cooperative framework used to manage shared international issues and maintain order across the interconnected world, all without a single world government. Specifically, it is the network of shared agreements and institutions that helps the world tackle problems and keep things running smoothly, built on partnerships instead of centralized authority. Global governance is also directed by two important institutions, which are the political and economic institutions. The operation of the political and economic life of globalization depends on how plans are implemented and how accountable these institutions are in their actions. In political institutions, these include organizations like the United Nations or the UN, which provide platforms for diplomacy, peacekeeping, and collective decision making. The institutions are primarily concerned in setting the rules, maintaining peace, and promoting human rights, and facilitating cooperation among states. While economic institutions, these regulate trade, finance, and development, ensuring stability and cooperation in global economy. Specifically, they govern global financial stability, trade, in investment, and development. They create the framework for the worldwide flow of goods and services, the capital, the core of the economic globalization.
And now, we also have the international institutions. The international institutions are classified intergovernmental organizations that are formed by the national governments. These are international formal organizations that are set rules and with the purpose of regulating the flow of communication and movement resources. Like they establish rules and norms for cooperation, regulate the flow of communication, trade, and resources. They also provide the mechanisms for conflict resolution and accountability. And the example for this is the International Monetary Fund or IMF performs globally and countries around the world depend on the common rules set by the body. Like IMF, World Trade Organization or WTO is an international institution that plays key role in the management of global trade. Its members Economies are bound to adhere and behave in accordance with its guidelines and the conduct of international trade. And we have here are examples of key institutions: the International Monetary Fund and or the IMF and the World Trade Organization or the WTO. These are mentioned here in the topic. First, the International Monetary Fund or IMF provides financial assistance and advice to member countries. Second, they ensure stability in the global monetary system. And lastly, help countries facing balance of payment crisis. While the World Trade Organization or WTO, they oversees global trade rules, then promotes free and fair trade among member economies. And last of it, they provide a dispute settlement mechanism when trade conflicts arise. And together, these institutions are reduced uncertainty in international relations by setting clear expectations and enforcing compliance.
The international institutions are important to globalization because, first, by creating predictability through shared rules and norms, which are reduce uncertainty and fosters trust among diverse nations. Secondly, they actively encourages cooperation by providing necessary forums, and mechanisms for states to negotiate and coordinate policies on complex global issues. Lastly, these institutions perform the essential function of balancing national interests with global needs, ensuring that individual country priorities are addressed within a framework that, that promotes global common goods, that promotes global common goods. And without these institutions, global globalization would be chaotic chaotic, with no shared rules to manage trade, finance, or political relations. And that's all.